Well, I suppose that's the thing, eh? You're not getting to cover all these news, and I figure, well, yeah, why in the hell not cover all that? So, I suppose with everyone else now out of the way, let's get right back into it. So, now, this is a funny one that I found out, on Reddit. Of course, Reddit, that's where I find most of my news, but that's besides the point. You know, this interesting tactic where apparently, you know how Jagex says that you shouldn't bot, otherwise we will permanently ban you. Like, no, was it no excuses, just first attempt, try it, you're banned. But sometimes they've been a bit easy on you, so I'll give you a couple of weeks, and you try it again, then you'll be banned. What if there's a weird workaround? So let's just say you get folks who will legitimately hack your account to try and bot it, and then you just say, oh, I've been hacked, this person's botted on my account, can you undo the ban? They'll do it, say, oh, this is on a different IP, so of course it has to be somebody else. And then this is sort of a different one-off kind of thing. We'll say, alright, we'll let you off, no offences, but you make sure your account's all fucking cleared, and that just makes sure it's all secure. What if I told you there's an interesting way of making that advantageous? So, let's just say you could control said hacking. Let's just say, you bought a little NordVPN magic, and that, say, you're on your normal IP, and that, just doing your usual stuff, and they say, oh, what if I want a bot, but I don't want any consequences? Alright, just log off, maybe for a few hours, so maybe even just for a few minutes, and then straight go on. With NordVPN, new IP, they won't be able to tell, and then it's like, okay, let's start botting, and it's like, where you go on for a few days, a few weeks, months, or even fucking like over a year, as some I've managed to, and then, oh, suddenly Jagex has caught me being banned. How to fix that? Oh, I'll just go back on my normal, turn off NordVPN, go on and say, oh, I've been hacked, and I want to try and secure my account and all, and it's like, yeah, that actually works, and that fucking works, and that. No, it's not a guaranteed thing, but a lot of people have reported saying it has managed to get them back, so it's like, they can't tell whether it's a genuine hacking or a staged hacking, they just assume it's genuine. And then the strange thing is, they don't tamper with the account and that, because usually what genuine hackers do, they try to offload as much as they can, and that as often as possible, so that in case this get turned off, at least some of the cash will be, if not most of the cash, will be onto the mules. But stage hackings, they'll never really do that, or they'll try to pretend they're the ones that just keep doing, get as much as they can before shipping it all off and that to mules. So yeah, that's how they've kind of managed to work their way around it, and it's, yeah, a bit suspect indeed, but that's what I mean, the community and the crafty folks, the black market aspects of the old school community are far ahead of Jagex in this one. I mean, fuck. It just makes you wonder though, eh? Indeed. Oh yeah, it was a fun one. A little PvP match in a PvP world with, was it Sync and Odablock? Yeah, apparently Odablock was willing to risk, max cat stack against a relatively new PvP content creator, Sync, and that. If he risked 200 million, and he agreed, and the most interesting fight happened indeed, but didn't last as long as you think. And no, the winner was not the far more seasoned experienced Odablock, rather it was Sync. So you think, oh, that's going to be a fucking juicy surprise, that, eh? Max full cast out alongside other items, I think added up to something like 7.5 billion, which was like really fun and ridiculous. So he was risking 7.5 billion, was just fucking funny, man. When you consider my bank being about 1.8, 1.9 billion, it's like, Jesus Christ. But nope, he actually did not, in fact, get the cash stack. Only a small portion, like maybe like 250, 500k. How was that then? Well, alright, let me tell you a little thing. Okay, so if you have a max cash stack, but you also have other items that add onto that cash stack when you die in PvP, like Fire Cape, Infernal Cape, fucking whatever, drops for money, it makes things a bit confusing, and whereby you can't really start collecting the max cash stack. I just realised, if Odablock had agreed to 2 billion, whole thing would have been completely different. That 500k, 1, 2, 3 mil extra wouldn't have mattered. But max cash stack, no, it gets fucky. And I think, I wonder if he knew that. Like, just robbing of a potential 2.1 billion and seeing it just goes, some really lucky looter up there. They've not revealed themselves, but some lucky looter has just made a fucking, like, bank, essentially. The biggest they will ever get in their fucking lives. You know, and I think there was a good, it wasn't gargantuan, but it was a good 20-30 looters up there anyway. One of them would have fucking killed for that kind of stuff. Just, holy fuck. Whoever got the highest bid there? Well, indeed, you've now earned a fortune on RuneScape. But who that is, we shall never know. But certainly it was a glitch that pissed off Sync to some extent. Though, I mean, he still won, what, 5 billion, but, well, close to 5.5 billion, but he could have gotten a bit more, you know. It wasn't like he lost the majority of it, but, well, fun times, eh? Fun times. Oh, man. So, what else to cover, eh? Also, fuck off. There we go. So, yep, this is indeed all before the new death mechanics and that finally arriving on the 25th of June. Yeah, this, as I say, shown off before, I kind of wish I'd done a little recording of the death of the office, because basically as it works, you've probably seen it a whole lot yourself, where essentially it's basically most of the items are based on a G value below 100k, which is basically free to play K for the most part. You don't pay anything. 100k to a million is 10k, no, 1k fee. 1 million and 10 million is a 10k fee, and anything over 10 million is a 100k fee, up to a maximum of half a mil. And if you don't get the 15-minute kind of thing, it goes into the fucking, what's it, casket of his and that, where you have to pay a 5% GE value, and it's, oh, it's so fun. It's, I don't know, like, I can never see myself actually needing to pay. And that, you know, it's just, bloody hell. Pino, fuck me. Oh, yeah, I gotta say though, just in the general craziness, it's just, holy fuck. Well, I'll stand to take that. Oh man. You gotta love that though, eh? Jeez. So, as far as that's concerned, I mean, there seems to be some weird exceptions. Like, for example, initially when you put in a grave, you could recover your food and potions, and that turned out to be a bit controversial, so they removed it, but then they kind of didn't remove it because it still drops next to your grave, but not in the 2-minute kind of way. I don't know if it's a 15-minute or if it's a full hour kind of thing like it used to be. I'm not so sure on that. I've never really tested myself, but I can confirm it lasted around that time when, you know, I got the fucking, what's it, Death to Corporal Beast. I only lost 11k because, me being wise in that, I used Dragon Boots instead of Primordial Boots. Though I could have just mitigated by that, by, you know, using Protect Item, but alas, one does not really think about that too much. As much sense as that would have made, but hey ho. But the good news is you don't lose things like Void or not, which I would have been quite pissed about if I lost it in Death, like you would say the Iron Pouch and Ava's Accumulator and the other one, but not Assemble for some reason. I don't know why, but it's the different rules. It's way more complicated than that. Not what it used to be anyhow. But just goddamn. Anyhow, yes, so I suppose on that matter, yeah, there's also no clarification on the recent, well, I say recent, this has been about, I would wager about 2.5 weeks now, and with these leak of account emails, what I suspect to be a data breach. I think I've spoken this before now, which I suspected it could have been RuneLite. However, it seems actually be more so, this is not confirmed, but it's very highly this is a fuck up on Jagex's end, where they're trying to downplay it. They'll say, oh no, that's real leak, you know, we're just looking into, you know, that kind of, nah, someone's fucked up, somebody made a big boo-boo and they're not wanting to admit. As any business who has a high self-esteem would most likely do in that, you know, but yeah, that seems to be concerning for a lot of older players who've been getting these password reset emails because, you know, yeah, their usernames are leaked and that, you know, their email addresses, but fuck me, it's just crazy stuff at the end of the day, eh? Oh man, also, yeah, speaking of the death mechanics and that, it did not take very long for our savvy programming legend Wooks and that to start finding bugs and that. 2 bugs actually, which were quite standouts. First one was he managed to smuggle in weapons. Like, if he died with a weapon, next to the grave thing in a Gielinor, and then he done a geostake, he could just nick the weapon off the grave that was right next to Gielinor, smuggle in and say, like, he done a Dran long scimitar, it just fucking shred the competition. It's just like, yeah, that would, not very good. Or, you know, if you're doing a whip, you can maybe sneak an armour and have way better odds. It's like, yeah, that got patched, I think, within 10 minutes. Like, yeah, the Jaguars were not confident in their, you know, like, their QA. Like, that's what I mean. The players in the first few days or week of the stuff, they are the QA, essentially, and there's probably other bugs that have just more subtle but not been discovered yet. But who the fuck knows, eh? Indeed. Who the fuck knows? Also, the other one, yeah, the fucking, what's it? I forget exactly how it works, but I believe what happened was that he'd go in with a full inventory at Army Glories to the usual Fountain of Ruin and that. He would, I believe he would stack them all, you know, get them used up, and then he would commit suicide and that. So the idea of the being that, okay, you know, you've got the stuff, but the savvy ones already know, eh? Because think about it. The thing, okay, things under 100k, you get back for free. Correct, so you can die, go back to Edgeville, and retrieve the items for free. And that, you know, at least I think, I'm not sure, I think you had done something to bypass the 50-minute waiting time and that, and you got the Army Glories for free, and that, you know. And then, yeah, if you go back, just don't have to risk, you know, that kind of thing. Don't know if it would work if you got PK'd in right in the middle of you before. Don't think it would, but that was a faster way of crafting glories indeed. So that was fun. So they're a bit more thingy with the wildy graves and all, and just other shit in general. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Also, regular and pure essence you can't get, because that would make rune crafting super OP. So far as I hear, just dying at the same bit. Like the one grave, dying like 4 more times, or 3 more times, getting a 5th inventory, and then doing 4 inventories, and then dying once, 2 more times, and then, you know, just that kind of, you keep repeating stacks. You know, that would actually make it faster in the long run. Just, oh boy. So, indeed, those bugs, and been quickly patched out, and I imagine more will come so in the future indeed. Anywho, yeah, as far as other stuff's concerned and that, yeah, so this is a bit more of a serious one, oh boy. So, I'll admit, I've seen a few comments, an older kind of RuneScape content creator, you know, old school RuneScape that specifically, by the name of, and this is now a infamous name, supposedly, yeah, Mr. Bug, and the guy with that fucking ant lookalike thing and that, you know, that figure, and it's, yeah, he's been in recent trouble. He's been quiet on old school RuneScape, or just YouTube as a whole the past few months, but recently it's came out just near the end last month that, yeah, this other, I think he's a 3D printer artist kind of gal in that, SD, OSRS. Yeah, she's pretty much came out and made a sort of a downing accusation against Mr. Bug and that seems to be, yeah. I'm going to get on a bit of a dodgy topic here. It's regards to the whole, how you defend yourself, because I learned this whole thing with, what is it, like, you got to be in two minds, well, what if you're guilty and you're trying to shake it off versus if you're innocent and you're trying to shake it off? It's two different mindsets, and I've always been wary of those who say the best response is kind of, it's, would one call, like, say, a formal statement that strictly goes down and say we're threatened to take you to court, you know, legal action, or is intimidation, like to say I've got all this money, you know, all the power, all the fans, you have got fuck all, like just stamping them down and like kind of doing that, like, so even the legit victims, and that's what the Me Too victim is all about. Think about it, to empower those who would otherwise feel threatened by that kind of thing. And I just wonder about that kind of tactic. It's like, I mean, I only say that because Mr. Bug actually he's actually really fucking dead quiet, so chances are that's an almost automatic guilty kind of thing, you know. But I mean, who the fuck knows? It's very much a he said, she said kind of game, you know, when you think about it, you know. And it's just a whole fucking mess, but I feel that that's the thing, when you get into these kind of things when it comes to sexual allegations, it's just, holy fuck. This is old school Runescape community at the end of the day, folks, and that is a lot of bad stuff going on, you know, in corners where you least expect it. And certainly, I will say this, just in general, I feel like people who go about this kind of stuff and that, it's tricky because, I mean, who's to say who's the one being honest and who's the one lying, you know, that kind of stuff and that, it's just bloody hell. But I suppose we'll leave it at that, you know, everybody has their own kind of take on it all, and well, indeed we shall see with the Me Too movement striking against Angry Joe and other content creators, but alas, we shall see. So, also another one, oh boy, this is an interesting contradiction, yes. So, remember that gay pride event from 2016, anyone? Yeah, that one. Yeah, apparently that was the one that got Maud Wolf into a lot of shit, you know, like, yeah, what was it, you know, yeah, hee-ho, Maud Wolf needs to go, like, that kind of thing, or what was it, we pay no gay versus we pay we gay kind of thing. It's like, fucking hell. Bloody, that was just, that was a shit fest, and no doubt it showed just how toxic old school Runescape is. Whether that's ironic or actually being quite serious, well, I'll let you decide on that one. But yeah, essentially, they've actually now returned to the Gay Pride event, except it's not on RuneScape. Well, actually, no, it actually is on RuneScape, but not old school RuneScape, yeah. So, in 2020, around the same time as this would have been, I think beginning of July in that year, you know, they did their own Gay Pride event, and basically, yeah, it actually went really fucking good. Like, almost complete contrary, like, the trolls and that, basically people being dipshits, was in the vast minority, and there was actually Jack moderators being there, really getting in part in that. Strangely enough, and that, there was nothing like that, and, you know, was it fucking old school RuneScape, and now they were a lot more hesitant to intervene. They only did it until, well after the event was over. But no, they actually kind of stood up and had what you called integrity. A strange one considering the fuck all integrity to do with microtransactions, sure, but when it came to that kind of stuff, it's interesting. It's a nice fresh of breath air, even if it's not the way that some people want it to be, but well, gotta give them some kudos where it's deserved, and even if it's not because I want, but alas. And then we go right back down to depression again, you know, downer here, where, yeah, sitting there, another famous old school RuneScape content creator. Apparently he's fallen into an induced coma following some surgery complications, where essentially he had I don't know the medical problem, I forget the name of it now, but he was needing to go get that fixed and that during a COVID-19. That went wrong, and I had internal bleeding, so he went back in, and as a result, some other former complications, and now he's now went into a coma. And where, yeah, it's looking not good, and like stable but critical kind of stuff, you know, it's, yeah, so people are worried that this could end badly if things go, you know, especially how dicey hospitals are with the huge thing about the pandemic and all, so, yeah, here's hoping, you know, I mean, as I say, it's just, maybe not my kind of taste of humour, but certainly he's a stand-up fellow, and you know, as I say, I've got all kind of mixed feelings with folks, some better than others, but, sitting there, not my guy, but he's decent, you know, that's what I'll say on them. So, as far as, this is a juicy one, yeah, an old school RuneScape event, Shoutcaster, I believe this is the one that does all those Den Man kind of shit. Yeah, he was promoting account sharing, and yeah, this guy was actually just saying, yeah, account sharing, you know, like, it's actually allowed. So long as you don't do the naughty stuff in Inferno Cave and that's not so good. But everyone else, yeah, just, you can share your account, you know, people are... What I'll say about this is that the rules seem not so clear about account sharing anymore. Like, first it was multi-logging, and eventually that got watered down to now, yeah, it's okay, you can multi-log now. But they still seem dicey when it comes to, let me see, they still seem dicey when it comes to just trying to address the fact that you can share your account with others, because it was like, previously, no, you have to do it yourself. And even the fucking security struggle to say, oh, who are you allowed to share accounts? Like, do I share it with strangers? Do I share it with my best friend? Do I share it with my brother? Wrong. It's only yourself. That's what the official one tells you to. But now there are weird cases where, it's on your own risk. Like, remember the third-party client stuff and that? It's like, what client, like, what software do you use? Or do you, like, use this nice, juicy third-party client makes the game easier. Do you use it? And, no, the fucking obvious answer would be, no, you no, you would, they would likely contain viruses or, we get confused as a botting client. But, no, they've started to break down the rules. At least what's convenient to them for customer-wise, Financial-wise, I don't think it really does much. Sort of, I can't say account sharing. Multi-logging definitely, but account sharing not so. But customer-wise, I guess I'll just kind of say, well, fuck the integrity. If it makes customers happy, well, some customers anyway. And that, so that's what got into a lot of shit, and just it sparked up that discussion of should account sharing actually be banned, or should you just get fucking standards? Either it's allowed or not allowed. Not do it show your own risk kind of shit. Like Jagex seems keen. Like communication over there is not clear. And it's frustrating at times. They're never really clear. But hey ho. Oh, this is another phone. Yeah. So yeah, the player mods and that. How I've spoken at length how they're useless and that for the most part. And when they're not useless, they're actually fucking counterintuitive. Like, was it, rogue player mods, those who have been corrupted or paid out by people with a lot of money, whether it be GP money or real life money, to stamp out competition so they can continue making money. Yeah, well, let's say this is the first case where apparently a legitimate player mod just muted all the competition, but then they themselves get muted by a rogue player mod, not just any mute. Apparently it was a good 2-day mute, and I was like, it was 2 or 3 days and that, and it was applied by a player mod, like, that got carried through to Jagex. It's like, yeah, it was applied in error, so that it got replied to later on, but questionable indeed. And I forget the guy's name, but definitely it was dubious, to say the least. Further emphasises this argument that you may as well just do it. It was certainly useful back in 2003, but over 15 years later, it's an outdated concept that was very handy back in the actual days. The actual days where people would benefit from that kind of stuff, just, role models, but I feel like that's, there's too much corruption in the old school Runescape community for that to really be sustainable, and it's just, not worth it. Also, King rolled hard. Oh boy. Oh dear. Yeah, I just get these guys talking nonsense. But anyway, yeah, so, just that fun stuff. Anyway, alright, so now we're getting near the end, and that, well actually no, we actually are at the end. Yeah, the very last news, and this is kind of a big one, so, Soldier Boy, yeah, he plays old school RuneScape. Yeah, I'm not joking here, yeah, if you actually look up Soldier Boy, Twitch and all that, you'll see he's actually played old school RuneScape, not just that, but he's actually been encouraged to play it, without a fucking, I can't remember the exact percentage, it was over 90% people overwhelmingly want him to keep playing RuneScape, so this is what he's sticking at. He's kind of making I think he's known for his rap stuff, but apparently it's not been going so great, it's been going a bit of a downhill career, so he's wanted to try and boost up his fame by, I guess, doing the video game kind of stuff, and one of the big ones seems to be RuneScape. It's funny how people seem critical of mainstream media until suddenly they're not. It's like, when an actual famous person comes in and plays RuneScape, then they do all that fucking kissing up, and it's just, hypocrisy, yeah. It's a fine and beautiful word that means so much, and it's just, defines a lot of people. I suppose it's whether honesty can be applied if you can be honest about being a hypocrite, as I have actually on a couple of occasions, and it's just, admitting to it, but, oh boy, we like to think of ourselves as always being higher and, better, was it holier than thou? It's just fucking hell, but that's besides the point. Obviously, he's starting to be, not at the face of RuneScape, but he is kind of putting the image out here is he's playing it, you know, he's bringing the attention to it via him. But this comes with a bit of a problem, and that, as you might recognise, Soulja Boy has a bit of a dubious past. And now, you know, he's not got the best history, I guess you could say, as far as doing stuff legitimately. What I mean by that is essentially he's been involved in a bit of a criminal background. I think he's actually been arrested for one of them in that. I'm not sure exactly what, but dubious stuff it is indeed. And I think, I forget what one of the serious charges was. I think this was disproven, but it was something about an assault and kidnapping kind of charge. It was bad stuff indeed, but you know, the ones that, bloody hell, the one he was definitely known for is being a scam artist. Like, what was it, that fucking console and that, the Soulja Boy bloody stuff and that, like, holy fuck. Yeah, no, he is a fluent scam artist, and it's just, yeah, he's not one to be fully trusted, and also I wouldn't put it past him if he had some connections to shady markets, which could possibly include the real world trading markets for old school RuneScape. Yeah, just imagine that, eh? Imagine that. Our dear rapper African Soulja Boy, and being paid by the fucking wallops, whether it be 1 grand, 5, 10, 20, 50, maybe even 100,000 above. Just enough to get him on board for a while. And, you know, just to have a sort of save, you know, like being all like fucking, I don't know, and his end he could get some fans and that, you know, get kind of popular with the gaming folks and, you know, get his kind of boost from there and that. You remember what was it? I forget who the guy was. Maximus Black, he kind of did a similar thing where he plays games for a certain while to get the audience from that, or at least part of them, and then he fucks off to a different one. Because I remember right after he did the cards thing, God knows what he's doing now, and I have no idea. I've not looked him up in over 2 years, so who the fuck knows? But yeah, this guy, I wonder if Soulja Boy's going to play the same thing. Like, stick at old school and maybe another week or two, and then he fucks off to doing the next thing, whether it be World of Warcraft or what the fuck. Yeah, no. Yeah, because the fact is, some fame and history to him, that's what makes him attractive, you know, it's... Oh, but, well, we shall soon say. I mean, I know it's not quite the Ku Klux Klan, I know that would be quite distasteful, you know, imagery otherwise, you know, saying as they're not really good image, and I suppose, if you consider the Pride riot thing, you know, but he seems to have a hard skin, so... Is it that's a case of him being offended and more of people being offended on behalf of him? Possibly, I mean, that's a whole fucking talk itself, but I suppose it just matters whether, you know, context, society, just what the circumstances, how does it go about it, you know, the severity of it, and just who's been affected, really, you know, just all these things, public, private, just, God, so many factors, and that, you know, this is the kind of stuff courts really look into, which is probably boring for most people, so I won't be going on about it any longer, but alas, so that is it. I mean, if you check the news past few days, but nah, nothing big. And, you know, nothing big at all, other than maybe a slip thing about Gilly courses now being a bit tampered, because, yeah, some of the Gilly courses, except that are down there in Trifidus ones for some bloody reason, yeah, apparently they have been marred by ugly footsteps and that left by agility trainers. Totally not a way to make it easy for mobile users to know where they're going. Yeah, basically it's not. It's meant to help people, but at the same time it looks a bit ugly. So if it could be toggable, like say, I don't know, there could be a slight gold thing. Just pay maybe somebody 5-10k to clean it all up, you know. Or you know, say again if you want to paint it on, you know, that kind of thing. So. It's like gold sign, but also you can make it toggable, that kind of thing. You know, so, yeah, there we go, eh? Seth Scylla, indeed, and well, as I say, this helped to be, you know, for quite a while indeed, because who the fuck knows when I'll be getting back to making content, creating videos for Runescape. I know the YouTube series I've got. My Let's Play going on right now with Shin Megami Tensei. Probably by the time this video goes out, it's probably moved on to the next thing anyhow, but if not, we shall see, because, you know, I do like that commentary, especially with my dear cousin Jay, eh? Man, fun times indeed, but who knows? Next time on a series, well, suppose you'll know indeed. Well, until then folks, farewell.